Okay.
All right, guys, we are live. Hello, everyone. This is part 2 of our Filmmakers Q&A on this day, Friday, June the 25th. We just had block 10, and now we're with block 11. Believe it or not, this is the last block of this year's festival. And so I'm gonna just go around the room and have you guys introduce yourself, the name of your film, and the role you played in the film. Let's go with you, Muhammad.
Mohammed Bilal. I was the writer, director, and one of the producers of my film, The Blue Cave.
Brian.
Brian Bostic, writer, director, producer, Pussy Control.
Everybody, let's pause before we go forward. Erica.
Hi, I'm Erica Ashley. I am the producer for the short PSA Black Girl.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's go with you, Erica. Let's stay with you ladies first. Talk about Black Girl. And your film was tied to another film we had, in which we had a panel. And I'm just so busy because I wanted you to be part of that panel because your messages were the same. Talk about the inspiration behind your film and how, why this particular film for you.
Right. So the film was written and directed by Joey Lamar Ashley. He came with the inspiration, because normally when we get these, buzzes on our phone or Amber alerts, of course, all children, safety is important, but normally the skin tone of the description doesn't look like us. And looking at certain statistics and things of that nature is still a problem today, where a lot of young Black girls go missing. Normally they're counted as runaways. They're not afforded childhood innocence like their counterparts are. So we wanted to just basically bring a message to this that's still going on, that's still affecting young girls today. 70% of girls under the age of 18 will be sexually, molested, which may cause their runaway. But, that's not to, dismiss that, they still, are missing in our community, and not much work is being done, to find these missing African-American girls or girls of color.
Interesting. Brian, let's talk about yours. And, this is your second time submitting to the Charlotte Black Film Festival. Every piece you have, it is just hilarious, and what you create. So talk about Pussy Control. Tell us, because my mind is, I'm a Christian, so I'm trying to stay right, but I got to talk about this title. Talk about your movie.
Nah, it's funny. Like, even when people try to say it, they be like kind of hesitant. But like, basically, the title is just a spin off of the character's name. The main character's name is Davion Poussey, and Pussy Control. And he has he has control over his owner, which is her name is Tiana in the movie. He has control over her and everything that she does because she loves him so much or whatever. And he's pretty much a hater. Like I remember the story came from I used to date this girl and she had a cat, and I was like, man, this cat is a hater. I was like, I don't know what it had against me, but the cat would if I came over, the cat would get mad at me. It would sit on the couch next to her, and then I tried to sit down. It would be like, nah. So it was like, man, this cat, there's something wrong with this cat. And then prior to that, we had a sketch that we did with this puppet cat, but we never used it, and it was just sitting in my closet for the longest. And then something just clicked, and I was like, I'm gonna do a short with this cat and make it kind of like that. But the name Pussy Control, I was like, it'd be funny if since it would be his last name, and if you call it Pussy Control, it's gonna make people like, what? They're gonna kind of want to see it just because of the name and stuff. So it was crazy.
That was great. That was really, really good. Really, really good. Muhammad, talk about your film. I mean, I heard your interview. So you submitted it on IG, I think. Your interview, one of your interviews. Is that, yeah, great stuff. So talk about the inspiration for those who are hearing you for the first time. Talk about the inspiration behind your film.
Well, the inspiration for the Blue Cave was actually my own childhood, my real life coming of age story. This was my thesis film. So, you know, you come into the end of film school, you want to go out with a bang. I was wrestling, like, what do I make? Everybody wants to do something really unique. And it just dawned on me, like, why not do my own story?
Right.
You know, it's a tragic story, it's an inspirational story, it's a gripping story. So I basically took a film and I just based it off my own life, just showing how I use creativity and how creativity inspired me to overcome my life circumstances as a young man on the south side of Chicago, dealing with child abuse and gang violence.
Yeah.
So, you know, putting the film, it was really, also it was easier for me to make it really, it was so personal that it was easy for me to shoot it and make it in a way that was immersive for the audience. You know, so you notice if you looked at the film, I know you have, just the camera work.
Yeah.
You know, how I open the film up. It's very claustrophobic, I should say, and going in a cave and dealing with a lot of that stuff. You know, the real life experience enabled me to really tell that in a very visceral and personal and also inspirational way.
Yeah. Erica, when you talked about you created this as a PSA, right? Was this a PSA for you personally to shout out awareness, or were you hired to create a PSA?
Can you repeat the second part of the question?
Were you hired to create a PSA, or was the PSA something you wanted to create in terms of the use for awareness?
Definitely for use of awareness. Joey and I, we work together all the time. So we're always working on, short films. This is not our first, PSA. We are, an advocate of, bringing awareness to the community, especially both him and I being Black educators, film educators. So it's definitely important to us to bring that awareness back to our community, and that's what the basis of the PSA was behind of, bringing the attention to, the issue of Black women.
Oh, good. And so let's talk about the, your movie, Brian. When you write these shorts, talk about the response, because here are two shorts that I know of that are just hilarious. And even though the first one didn't have a sexual name, it was a kind of a funny sexual comedy, if I could call it that, right? Where the second one did not, but it has this, you can take this as this particular name. Talk about those two.
Well, I know with Pussy Control, it's just one of those things, like for me, like most of the time I try to write like different genres and stuff, but like usually comedy, I love comedy. I watch comedy all the time. So like I'll think of a idea that's funny, or like probably a moment that's funny, and then build around that. So like with most of my comedies that I write, it's just something like, it's a funny idea, like, oh man, that'd be funny if this happened. And then I'll just start writing around it.
That's good.
And that's why I like some of the stuff comes from personal experience. Some of the stuff comes from just something I see at work or at home or something like that. And I just like to write.
Yeah. Muhammad, you talked about the cinematography of your movie, and it really was like, wow. I mean, how were you able to to process what you experience and then cinematically create this, not emotion, but this look that created the emotion? You know what I mean? You created this look that caused this emotion based upon this personal experience, which is brilliant. How were you able to make that happen?
You know what? Just really, I have a very vivid imagination, and I remember, like, I can see stuff, smell, stuff that I recall from my own experience. And if you look at the film, that's not something you would forget.
Right.
You know
right.
what I mean? So like just having remember things, I really set out to find sets. I set out to even find the house that it was shot in to really capture what things looked and felt like when I was a kid on the south side of Chicago. So I really spent a couple months, probably 3 or 4 months, actually trying to find the right set and then the right color palette and then making sure we had the right camera movement to really immerse the audience so they could feel what I was feeling as a young man. So it's really just thinking back, looking at what things look and felt like in Chicago in the 90s when this happened, and then trying to match that with the sets that I had in New York and in New Jersey where I shot. I shot most of the film in New Jersey, by the way.
Oh, did you? And it's interesting.
Including the cave, that was in New Jersey too.
Oh, wow. So it's interesting how what we would think of being black, you made it blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Right. Because and that was an added layer I wanted to get a film because we have a lot of films about dysfunctional families in the Black community, violence in the Black community. So I really wanted to set the film apart by including some science fiction, which was really actual to me. I would just go in the basement and imagine I was somewhere else.
Gotcha.
I would go somewhere and my creativity and my imagination would take me somewhere else. Yeah, which we all can relate to because that's what film does for us, right? We imagine something and then we bring it to fruition through our art, filmmaking.
Yeah.
We got two more gentlemen that just stepped into the room. Guys, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell me where you're from, the name of your film, and your role in that particular film.
You go first, B. Thank you, Taylor. Sorry for my tardiness, everyone. I'm joining from Los Angeles. My name is Dekega Hadnot. My film was Little Brother. And I was the director on it, director producer.
My name is Taylor Byron Barr. I'm one of the actors in Pussy Control, directed by my boy Brian. Just happy to be here. I'm sorry, late, fellas. I got held up doing something, and I ran back to the computer. But I'm happy to be here. With all us, all my people. We doing our thing. So yeah, thank you.
Let's talk about Little Brother. And you took us you flipped the script on Little Brother. You flipped the card. We were happy, got an educator going into the house, doing a home visit. I won't give it away, but talk about your inspiration. Now, are you the writer or just the director?
I have a writing partner. He hopefully he's tuning in, but we usually do story, and sometimes we write, we edit together a lot. But so I'm gonna give he has the writing credit for we do story together. The story on this.
Inspiration behind this story. Give us the inspiration.
The inspiration, man. It's a myriad. It was a lot of things, but I guess what really set it off is we're all here in LA. Going after the Hollywood, doing all that stuff, and La La Land was just really getting to us with the with all of the false starts and all the false promises. And we had just decided like, hey man, like, let's not worry about the industry. Let's just go do something that we would do that's just, emanates from us. So we went up to Topanga Canyon, got an Airbnb, DJ, and just thought of stuff. And I came from a background where I went to a private school in the Valley, but was coming out of the city in Los Angeles. So my home life, community life was drastically different from, school life and who I was being educated by. So we took some of those elements of, the young, Black youth who may be scouted or in environments that don't reflect them. And that could be, as a young athlete or a young scholar, or whatever it is, and trying to maintain a sense of yourself in your community while in a different environment. So we wanted to put a lot of that in there, as well as, other aspects, being from LA, a lot of our people, a lot of our grandparents are from the South, but especially Louisiana and Texas, that has a lot of, roots in hoodoo and root work and you know, all that good stuff. So it was just a combination. I just wanted to get all of that in there, my history and doing hip hop music videos in LA, and just get all of that stuff in there. And that's what little brother was, just sort of a hodgepodge of me and my writing partner and so on.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Taylor, talk about this. You're an actor in LA, correct?
Yeah, yes.
So you get Bryant comes to you, how the connection took place.
Okay.
And he says, let me finish the question.
Oh.
And he comes to you and says, I have a short film I want you to be in called Pussy Control. What was your first thoughts?
It's funny because, you know, we talked about this. I had shot with a guy who knew Brian, and he was like, Brian, a guy named Brian's making movies, and, you know, I think you'd be good for something. So I reached out to him and just told him, you know, keep me in your mind. And I was on vacation. I think I was in Hawaii, and Brian sent me an email with the Pussy Control script. And I was like sitting there, and I just looked at the title, and I was like, what the hell is this? And and it was spelled with an IE, and I was like, what the hell? So I started reading it, and I'm reading it with my girl, and I'm laughing, and she's like, this will be good for you. This will be good for you. And I'm like, are you serious? She's like, yeah, this cat is crazy. And we had a table read, all of us, everybody doing the movie, and it just worked. It worked, and it was funny, and we were sitting there like, wow, this is crazy. And so by the time we actually shot it, it felt hilarious, but I hadn't seen the puppet yet. I hadn't seen what he looked like. So when I saw him in real life, when we first were shooting, oh man, it was hysterical. I lost it. I still can't look at him without laughing. And then when I heard his voice, Myron, who does his voice, oh, that was it. It was jokes. And then I was sold completely. And then the only hilarious part that added to that is whenever I tell anybody I'm in that movie or I do it or this and that, I got to tell them the name, and they look at me like I'm crazy, and I have to kind of explain what it is, but it already sucks them in. So I'm just happy. I'm thankful to be a part of this. It's crazy, man, to even think about the title and what it means and how it works, but it's all genius. I owe it all to Brian.
Yeah, awesome. And Brian, talk about this. I mean, because you created the story and the puppet. So the voice, you had a voiceover, I guess, on top of the person in the costume, correct?
Oh, it's not a costume. It's actually a puppet, like a Muppet.
Oh.
It's actually a Muppet. But like the way that we make it use, we have make it move. We have one of my brother's godson is about the same height as the puppet. So we put him in the clothes, and we have him do all the movement and stuff. but the actual character is a puppet. The voiceover is one of my buddies. He couldn't be here. He's I think he's on a vacation or whatever, but he does the voice. He's funny as shit. So I told him, I was like, yo, we wanted him to do the voice because he has a real unique kind of voice. And I like my brother, he thought it would be great. And I was like, yeah, call Myron up and see if he'll do it. And he was down. So it worked. I mean, like everybody that sees it, they love the voice. And it's funny, Myron will tell you, he doesn't like his voice. He's like, oh man, I'm embarrassed of my voice. I'm like, dude, people love your voice.
Absolutely. Muhammad, talk about this because, you know, and this is for everybody. When you write something, you're speaking to somebody, right? Who were you speaking to, and what were you saying in your movie? And this is for everyone. Who are you speaking to, and what are you saying in this movie?
Who I'm speaking to, I mean, it's everybody. But if I really had to narrow it down, I'm talking to Black people. And, I'm from the South Side of Chicago, and telling stories, and this is in every community. I've traveled a lot. Black people are some of the greatest, most animated storytellers you will ever meet. I've noticed that in Africa. I've noticed that with Afro Latinos and, Latin America. We don't play with telling a story. So for me, the way we told stories growing up, we usually would start with the end to get people captured. So-and-so just got beat up. What happened? All right, let me tell you how it started. So I tell my stories in a non-linear fashion, just like that. I like to start with a big bang. You see the end, and we go back. I love films like that too, like Memento, That's one of the things I love about Quentin Tarantino also. But for me, I just love to start off with a bang to get your attention, and then just give you the high points to keep you gripped. And if you look at my film, that's how I did it. Like, I really didn't leave a lot of room for you to get bored. It's like there's a certain rhythm to it. And if you listen to how we speak as a people, there's a rhythm to how we communicate, and how we stay into a story. And, like whether you're in a barbershop, on the corner, or talking with family at the family reunion, you're not telling that story right. You lose people. You gotta, it's like the Apollo. You better keep my attention, or that's somebody else who got a better story. But what I wanted to say is that in the film is that you determine your life. No matter what you're going through, you don't choose your circumstances. You don't choose your family. You don't choose your mom and your dad. But what you do choose is how you respond to things and how you determine the direction of your life.
Yes.
You have to have a vision for what you want your life to be, and you have to fight for it. You're ultimately responsible. You can't just keep crying and blaming this person and the other. And this was something I learned as a young man, and something I really tried to illustrate in the film. I couldn't pick my parents or my circumstances, but I was hell-bent on living a life and achieving the life I wanted once I became a man. And that's what I really wanted to communicate in the film. That was the big thing for me, was self-determination. You decide what you want to do, have a vision and a dream for your life, and cling to it, fight for it.
How about you, Ashley?
Yes, for a Black girl, like Muhammad said, that, generally it's talking to everyone, but mainly to our people. We see with white media, missing Black girls is not at the top, of their list. So it's up to us, to be there for our community. And just thinking about, back in 2014, when all those young girls went missing in Africa, how much not many people knew about it until Michelle Obama, brought awareness and attention to it. And it's just the power of the community, coming together and, making sure that our girls come back home, making sure that we are a priority, because we can't depend on anyone but ourselves, of having our own back in our own community.
Yeah. Tell me how to pronounce your first name. I don't want to mess it up. Yes.
Dekega.
Dekega. Good.
Yeah, Dekega.
Tell me about Little Brother, because was this done as a calling card to Hollywood, or talk about it?
It was done more as a rejection. Because as I was saying earlier, you remember, we sort of left LA, the city kind of went more up in the mountains, just like, yo, forget that. Like, it's just too much BS. And I'm like, you got to do something that I want to say that I don't think they would see. I don't see Hollywood necessarily trying to put out narratives like that I feel in our film has themes of both what Muhammad and Erica was saying, and like self-autonomy for a community and a family. Like, yeah, you may see Keith, this teacher, come in and say, oh, he's an educator. He is an educator, and he does care for Lamont, but you can't just extricate someone from their community and shun everything. And that was one of the bigger themes, at least for Black people in the film, because there's also themes that are more for white people. Like that's one of the ways we made the film, because it's through a white teacher's point of view, but that doesn't mean everything that he wants to do or whatever is right. You can extract different lessons depending on your viewpoint for the film and which cultural community you come from. We've got that from both people, whereas Black people are like, yeah, I wish Granny would have messed him up more, or like, that's messed up, he's a teacher and that means that white people can't teach Black kids. Like, no, that's not what it's about.
It's not.
At least that was not my intention. My intention was to put a mirror up and to think about it, and more specifically for Black people, sort of, yes, we do have to have agency. We do have to have a vision for ourselves and our communities, and we gotta protect each other. And also, if you want to be an ally and help us, you can't just say, oh, LeBron, Ryan Coogler, Obama, but the rest of y'all just ghetto hood rats and uneducated. No, these people come out of a community, just like you said, just like Muhammad said, our rhythm and our talking, storytelling. We have culture. We have hundreds of thousands of years of lineage. You can't just extract these things and one be your magic Negro. And that happens a lot for our young kids, especially nowadays. So that was a big thing for me because that's what I felt as a young kid. If I didn't have my grannies or whatever giving me that alternate education or whatever, I would have just been, an automaton magic Negro saying stuff for other people and not my community, not where I come from. I wouldn't represent in that way. So yeah, I may have went on a tangent, but that was some of what we were trying to get through for the Black community.
Yeah, and it came through very clear. I mean, it came through. You know what I mean? And so Brian, your movie, even though it was funny, title and all, it had a very unique message. I mean, what were you saying through this movie?
Well, see, I was speaking directly towards women with cats. No,
oh.
Nah, that was my demographic. Women with cats. Anybody else that caught it? Nah. I just really wanted to like make people laugh. Like that's my whole thing. I like seeing people laugh. I like seeing people enjoy themselves. And with this movie, yeah, I mean, it had like its little subplots and stuff like that. Like, but mostly it was just to give people a chance to laugh and look at something silly and like really like enjoy. Like I made it so people can enjoy. So
yeah,
too much big thing behind it though.
Yeah. But it spoke. I mean, I think it spoke to something, Taylor. And you can respond to this because have you ever been in a situation where this cat, whether it was a brother, an uncle, a daddy, or anybody, interfered with your game?
Yeah, no, yeah. I have. I've been in it, and I've known some haters before, some dudes putting salt in my game. But when I know the character arc of my character Ryan, and now that I know more about him since we've gone on through the sequel, and then we've done the feature now, and we're releasing that soon. I want you guys to pay attention to that. I know the character arc of him, and I know more about the story. I know that where Davion, the cat, is coming from is from a good place. So if there is a message, it is like protect the ones you love. Because Davion, even though he has some crazy tactics and whatnot, he really cares for Tiana and he wants to do well and he wants her to succeed. And he doesn't want any tricksters or any, dudes that he deems losers dealing with her. So I think the message, like Brian said, is humor, but there is also a message of, protect Black women, because that's what he was doing. And he was there like standing up for her and trying to make sure that, the best things come from this. And it's a lot of hijinks and whatnot, but Davion's message and what he really wants to happen is the most important thing. He doesn't want Tiana to be involved in no BS. And so I kind of got to give him props for that.
Yeah, and you catch that more in the feature once that's in post.
You'll see why he's trying to protect her and what the realization is and how, it really matters to him.
So you're not telling me that, what's his name again? The cat?
Davion.
Are you telling me he has a past? He has history?
Oh yeah, it's coming too. It's coming.
Yeah.
I'm just following through. Okay, good. Talk to me about this because you guys have some amazing projects at the festival. What's next for you? Talk about, and how has this project helped to elevate that next? Let's talk about that. Erica.
What's next for us as far as the project, of course, is continue to let it go through the film festival circuit. I enjoy as an educator, and also Joey as an educator, I enjoy talking with teenagers and just seeing where they're head at on the information of what's going on. And I was actually unaware that, even this has come into close contact with, someone close within my circle not too long ago. So, just, stand also in the faces of the teenagers and talking to them about the dangers and awareness that they need to have, when they're out by themselves, especially, coming from where we're from in Miami, in those areas and things of that nature. So just also spreading, the message to film festivals and, also talking to the teenagers about it as well. This day and age, they're always on their phones and things like that. So they just, need to become more aware of things, of what's going on.
And what do you guys plan to do next? What's next for you?
We're going to have a private viewing of it with some of the cast and crew who have yet to see it. We was waiting for this to be shown at this festival first. So we will be having a private viewing with them. That's the next step on the list.
Gotcha. Awesome, awesome. Taylor, how about you as an actor? And I guess you just completed the feature. Brian, I know you talked about the feature. I didn't know you had shot the feature. So which is awesome. So Taylor, what's next for you as an actor?
Well, we shot that, working on that in post right now. I know I talked to Brian a while ago, and he was talking about we might have a couple of reshoots that we need to do. We'll be working on the promotion for the film. I shot another show that'll be on Amazon, season 2 of a show called NoHo, and that's in post right now too. And we're working on that. Besides that, there's a couple things in the work. I got a couple scripts that got sent to me for some jobs. I'm looking at them, but I'm waiting to hear what Brian wants to do next, because I told him whatever he has in the pipeline next, I want to be involved in it. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed. I'm glad we're here. I'm glad people have taken notice. We're very thankful. This is incredible. I'm just lucky to be around such important and brilliant people. So I'm just gonna ride their coattails and do whatever they tell me to do.
That's so powerful. We talked about that earlier with one of the groups about a production team submitting one to another, and which is so powerful, because it's not about who's in charge, it's about who's going to help to get it done. We just talked about that. So Brian, he just passed the baton to you. Talk about what you're doing now and what's next for you after Pussy Control. What's next?
Yeah, I mean, we're in post-production with the feature right now, and then I've got another feature that I wrote that we're probably gonna shoot after this one is done in post. And then I plan on doing it into this year or next year. I have a web series, but a kind of TV show that I'm writing. So I want to try to do that, do a pilot and maybe 2 episodes, and then try to do them. Plus, we got our streaming service where we stream all of our movies, streamingwithphe.com. We're going to try to do our web series off of there and put most of our movies and promote them off of there. So, it's just all about continuing to do work too. I even think I want to write another short, because I'm in post-production right now. I'm getting edgy. I want to shoot something else. So.
Okay, gotcha. You say streaming with PHT?
Streaming, regular spelling, streaming with common spelling, and then PHE.
Oh, E. Gotcha.
PHE.
Gotcha. Awesome. Muhammad, let's talk about that. What do you? This film has really been impactful. Opens up a lot of doors of conversation. As well. What's next for you?
Well, I'm gonna continue to stay on the festival circuit. So I'm gonna let it run its course, similar to what Erica said. Continue with the press, because it's getting a good deal of press, because it's dealing with abuse and healing, which is something really important now, especially coming out of the pandemic. More people are talking about getting therapy and support. And a lot of conversations around the film have centered on that. A lot of people admitting a lot of things that they went through after watching the film, and how it brought back memories and how it's inspired them, and also had them relive some things. So I'm gonna continue with the circuit. I want to turn it into a feature for sure.
Oh
I
yeah.
want to make it. I want to make it a series too, because like everybody want to know about the other parts. My mother's an interesting character. Having been a Black Panther, people want to know about her past with that. How did she go from being a Panther to dating a junkie musician? So there's a a lot there. My stepfather's story. So I would love to turn it into a series. So we're working on that and definitely making it a feature. My next short, I'm going to do another short about a Black man who reluctantly gets therapy because he's triggered by a police homicide, and that triggers him to go get therapy, because that's a taboo topic in our community. A lot of brothers just don't want to get therapy,
Right.
you know. So I'm doing a partnership with Black Men Heal, who gives free therapy out to Black men, and they're going against the stigma of Black men not getting therapy. So the film, I'm partnering with them for the next short. And then other than that, man, I'm ready to graduate and move on to features after I do a comedy. See, I gotta get like Brian. I gotta do a comedy. So 2 more shorts. The one on a Black man who reluctantly goes to therapy, and that therapy session is going to be powerful and compelling. And I want to do one comedy. So I'm gonna do both. I want to do both this year before I move on to.
So, Muhammad, when you first mentioned the male going for therapy, I thought that was gonna be a comedy right there. I thought that was,
No.
you know, I thought that's where he was going until you said the trauma he experienced. But at first,
Right.
I could see that. You know, Brian, do you see it as a comedy? You know,
Oh,
where,
I wrote a comedy about a dude getting a vasectomy. I haven't shot it yet, but that I was like, just to like the supposedly seriousness in that, and like actually going through it. I was like, man, dude, that's comedy. It's comedy.
interesting. Good stuff. Good stuff. Talk about the little brother. I mean, where do you go? I mean, this, you know, and you're not giving this film due props, because, you know, watching Little Brother, and it takes you, it gives you that, and that New Orleans feel, you know, was it right there. You know, I got that, and Grandma, amazing. She did a awesome job there, right? And just so
Hattie Winston.
Hattie Winston, amazing.
Yeah.
So talk about where you go from here.
Man, I think, you know, we've been throwing around doing a feature of a few people of like, yeah, we would like to see that world open up a bit, see that block. Who else is on there? You know, is it just the crazy ice cream man? Is it someone else? And I think, yeah, you know, I was talking to my writing partner. I think we will start on that, on writing the feature for it, and open it up more to the block. And what if you had what if you had that teacher in the neighborhood? Get a little bit more of that theme of gentrification was going on heavy in LA, in a lot of, you know, what were known as Black communities, but especially in LA, and what we call, what y'all may know as a Crenshaw district, but all up and down Crenshaw is gentrifying heavy.
Oh yeah. Man, I'm telling you, I'm with you. I see it all the time. Anytime you see white people walking their dogs at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know it's gone, man. You know it's gone.
It's gone, man. It's gone, because we have, you know, a lot of people say, man, y'all are gangbanging, acting crazy out there in LA. Look at all the nice houses. Like, yeah, it's true. It's nice houses. It wasn't always the hood, and in the city, and the developers and different enterprise and people are like, yeah, we see them nice houses. We can come and get them. So, so we can, you know, we can build out on more of those themes, and a couple of different things in the feature world. We're working on a sci-fi as well, because that's something I think, you know, Black people are interested in, but we don't see too much. You know,
Definitely.
I think, you know, Black Panther did a great job, but we also want to see. It'd be nice to see some sci-fi, just from, you know, we give it up to Stan Lee, rest in peace, but also straight from, you know, a Black mind as well originally, and give it up to Ryan Coogler, of course, and what he did with it in the cinematic world. And I got hit up to do another feature, a horror feature. A producer had seen Little Brother, so just trying to figure out you know, if we're gonna move forward on that, if that's the right project or not. So that's just where I'm at, to try to churn out more stories that are impactful and enjoyable, and you know, do what Little Brother did, where a little bit of dark comedy but with serious tones, and just get it all in there, you know.
Yeah. And it's interesting how people interpret it. You know, what you're sharing. It's interesting how some people interpret it based upon their own world. You know what I mean? And they miss it. You know, so that's for everybody. That's for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah. So guys, listen. I just appreciate each and every one of you for submitting your films to the Charlotte Black Film Festival. You know, it's our 11th year. You guys in LA, Chicago. Erica, where you from?
I'm from Miami, but right now I'm currently living in Atlanta.
Okay. So all over the place, and submitting your film to our little festival. So I just really appreciate and honor you guys. Hope you guys are coming to the Vision Awards, and probably not. You guys are way out there, but that's going to be a Saturday where we're going to announce the best in each film category. So Muhammad, you mentioned that to me. It's not by block, but it's by the category: short film, documentaries, feature films, art films, Black women in film category, those kind of things. It's how
Tommy, I just gotta say, man, like I know, like most of the time when I get put in festivals, especially with Pussy Control, like they put me up against a bunch of comedies and stuff. You put me up against a bunch of heavy hitters, man. I watched all these movies. I watched Little Brother. I watched Black Girl. I watched Yours, Blue Cave, and I was just like, man, dude, these are great, interesting, fucking deep movies. And I was just like, damn. Mine's just a comedy. Everybody else is so deep.
And that was intentional, because you need to break that up some. You know, you just don't need to always go, you know, with this deep message that you're defining. And then, because once you get into the message, and then you're kind of examining yourself and all that kind of, we needed something to break all that up. So it was done on purpose, you know.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Good. And appreciate you for just watching and really enjoying their movies, because if you guys do that, it's just really, really amazing. So once again, we will have the Saturday event is virtual. So if you guys can't make it in person, it will be virtual. Still takes the ticket, so it can help support us with the streaming and everything that we're doing there. So once again, guys, man, just really appreciate you guys. Next year, I'm looking forward to us being in person. And actually, you get an email. We have a sister festival in New Orleans. It's called the New Orleans Second Line Film Festival. So you guys can get an email with some discounts on if you guys want to participate in that. That is in person. Towards the end of the year.
I love New Orleans, so good reason to go.
Me too.
I see y'all down there.
Yeah. We need to move the feature to the New Orleans.
Yeah. So you guys will, you know, definitely get some information on that. So once again, appreciate you, man. Best of luck, man. Blessings and favor to all of you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you. See everybody. Great job. Great work. I want to work with everybody here. Good job, y'all. Stay up. Let's do it.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Good luck.
All right.
Peace.